Hey everybody, welcome back to another Sunday edition of the Trekyards podcast, where we just talk about Trekyards and Star Trek related things.
Yes.
I'm Captain Foley.
Go on, Coggins. Hi, guys.
Hey. So, this weekend, the weekend that this podcast is out, we are actually in Ticonderoga, New York, at DrexCon. Ooh.
But this
happened
is
yesterday. If it was
so is this a green screen set, or are we filming this beforehand?
This is all green screen live on set at Ticonderoga. This is amazing, eh? Look at the quality of Samuel's work. This looks real. Not really, it's real life. We're just doing this like a week ahead of time. It's actually Monday today, the 17th, so I leave on Friday. Samuel flies out on Wednesday.
So soon.
But
yes,
we're going to be hanging out with Doug Drexler.
Yes.
Some of you might not have been able to make it, but we want to give you a Doug Drexler weekend. So yesterday's Trekyards was all about Doug.
Well, of his ships anyway. Well, one of his ships. Yeah. It's a pretty interesting discussion, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yes. And today, why not talk about Doug? So, I mean, we met the guy.
Yes, very themed weekend. Yes, we went to, so for Mission America, you guys know, an amazing trip. We did LA, we did Denver, we did Montreal, we did Ticonderoga, we did Montreal again. You know, it was a big old trip. We met a lot of amazing legends, and you've seen the videos come out, you've seen the podcasts, you've seen the interviews. It's been a whirlwind of videos, and we got the chance to go to Doug's house and meet him and Rick and John, me of which for the first time for all of them. You'd already met Rick and John, but what a day. But let's talk. So we're going to talk about this today. And the story of that fateful meeting that was foretold in the Trek legends. If you look carefully on the Enterprise A plaque, it says Doug Drexler and Samuel Coggins and Jim Foley. It's like this was destined.
Yes.
No. Continue.
Anyway, okay, so it was an interesting time for sure. Let's start the day off with walked out the front door of our hotel, which was on Sepulveda Boulevard. I can never say that right. Sepulveda. There we go. About 20 minutes away from Doug's place. And it was gray and overcast, as it was almost the whole time we were in LA.
Yes.
Except for the last day.
Because I brought the crap weather, apparently. Even a little bit of rain droplets anyway.
It's a combination of the English and the Canadian weather. Just ruined LA for a week.
Brought it all down, yes. We started driving, and it was like... Well,
wait. Hold on, I gotta jump in there. Before we really left, we went down the street to the Target because Samuel needed some stuff and we needed a tripod.
Yes.
So we went down to Target, walking around Target, and one of my favorite YouTubers walks right on by me. I have to point this out.
Do.
Philip DeFranco, everybody. Philip DeFranco, and I'm like, is that James DeFranco? Because I forgot his name.
Yes,
and Samuel's like, just go ask him, go talk to him.
Yes.
This is the only chance you're probably going to get to meet the guy.
Yes.
You know. So Samuel went off and did this thing. I ran up and waited for him to finish at the cashier. He was with his wife and kid, and got to meet him. And it was him. And he's like, well, it's funny that you thought James because that's my middle name, Philip James DeFranco. So anyway, I got to meet one of my favorite YouTubers, Philip DeFranco. So that's the way the day started out. On our way to Doug's house.
Yes.
Boy.
Yes. So we follow the sat nav, and we're like, we have no idea. You know, we've seen his house in Gods and Men. There's a little scene in it. Oh, not Gods and Men. Of one of the Phase 2 episodes. So like, we have a vague sense of his house. Vague, and it's obviously his office, like the 2D what we see when we film. And we're driving, and we get from like LA to weirdly less cool LA, and then goes back to being more fancy LA, and it's just this strange. I mean, every road presents a different sort of feel. I'm like, okay, we're here. Okay, we're here, guys. And in the documentary for Mission America, when that comes out, you'll see our live videos. We're all about to go in, and I don't think we're actually nervous because how many almost 2 years of knowing on Skype, through Skype and things. And the house was on the corner, and we're like, right, let's go.
I think it's safe to say that we were more excited than nervous. And we did do a live
and
captain's...
dreading it a bit as well.
Yes.
His insults and his
Anyway, we did a kind of like a live captain's log thing, which has been released. It was released that day of us out by the car.
I forget what's been released. We filmed so much.
Yeah, I know. There's probably still some stuff we have to release, obviously.
Absolutely. Okay, so we go up I bring all my. Do I bring all my kit? No, we go say hi first.
Yeah.
And what happens?
Well, we knock on the door, and when you approach the house, there's like this big bay window for the living room, so they have warning that we're coming, pretty much. So we go up to the door, knock on the door, and it opens, and there's a Martian from Mars Attacks staring at us.
And we're very confused. We're thinking, are we at the wrong house, or are we the exact right house?
I knew exactly that we were at the right house. We've had that discussion with Doug before. He's a huge Mars Attacks fan, like the original trading card things.
Oh, yeah.
The gruesome details, So I wasn't shocked at all.
No. And it's just like this moment of, hi, how you doing? Hi. And we realize, oh, damn, he's quite small. He's quite short. And
I think I was the one that said, you're shorter than I expected.
Yes.
And that just was not a good foot to lead off on.
He was like, whoa. And then I'm actually quite a tall guy. I'm taller than you by a bit, and I'm taller than Doug by quite a lot. And we don't get that sense, obviously, in Skype. I can raise my chair. I'm taller than Stuart, but it doesn't mean anything. And so to suddenly lose that distance, lose that virtualness, and have him right there, and yet we know anything we can talk to him about, he's there for, and that there wasn't that sort of weirdness, but it was just like, huh. Cool.
It was
nice
very
house.
surreal.
Yeah. And then it just became like a case of, oh, that's a really cool house. A lovely house. Very warm, very...
Then we walk in and we see the shelves full of Emmys and, just beautiful decor. It's a beautiful house inside, so...
Yeah, lovely. And the bird, Beaky, is right there with the cage. And it's just like, this is going to be a good day. We had that vibe. I mean, then it's like not only Doug and Dorothy, who's absolutely lovely, does lots of great photography for us without us even asking, which was great. We knew in a few minutes we're going to see Rick Sternbach and hopefully John Eaves. And for me personally, I'm a huge fan of Rick, huge fan of John. Doug is just Doug. I mean, everyone's a fan of Doug, but like I'm so used to Doug. But like meeting these people is just such a dream, and in such a personal way. It's not a convention. It's not as a Mr. Eaves, can I have your autograph? It's like, hey John. Nice to meet you in person. Like, it's a whole different experience. Yes. So that was nice.
Yeah. And it's worth pointing out, too, that in front of his fireplace, kind of off to the side, there was, like, his DS9 director's chair with his name on the back.
Oh, yeah.
And then on the mantle, there's the Zephyr Cochrane statue of him pointing to the stars with this, the same one that's in Archer's quarters in Enterprise. Not the exact same one, but one cast from that one. So I thought that was very cool.
Yes. Yeah. And then it was a few minutes till Rick arrived. And then Rick arrived, and it was just like two old friends of Doug and Rick, and then he sort of sits down. And it's just like, there's Rick Sternbach.
Well, there's a story coming up here because we wanted John Eaves. We wanted the three of them together. And
yes.
I told Doug that I had invited John Eaves, and Doug said to me, well, if you can get John Eaves to show up, I'll pay you $5 because... John's a very busy guy, and it's hard to nail him down to do anything. And so we're sitting there for a while, and I'm kind of getting discouraged that he's not going to show up. And then all of a sudden...
But we're still talking to Rick. We're still talking to Doug. Yeah. We're laughing about things. It's really cool. They're already talking about one of the technical manuals, I think, and comparing about a book that's coming out. Like, it's just like no time has passed for them. And then...
Yeah, and then a car pulls up across the street, and I don't remember who it was. I think it was Dorothy that's like, who's that? Because you can't really see because there's like a tree in the way.
And we all sort of stop, and I'm like, it's not. But I'm just like, it is gonna be done. I'm confident.
And
everyone's like,
Rick and Doug turn around, and Doug says, well, with those little chicken legs, that's probably the Eaves. And sure enough, it was John Eaves walked in.
And what a burst of energy when he comes in. He's like, hey, everybody. And he's got all these things, and just like, that's John Eaves.
Signed prints for all of us, even Doug and Rick, because he hasn't seen them in a while. And it was great to see them, like, longtime friends that hadn't seen each other for a while, and it was amazing. And I gotta say too, I got a picture of Doug handing me $5, kind of going, and John also paid me $5 because he goes, if I don't show up, I'll pay you $5. But he ended up paying me $5 regardless. So I got $10, $5 from two legendary Star Trek designers, which is awesome.
And I got nothing. I didn't bet on it, but it's just. I mean, that sort of legendary. I mean, for fans like us, I mean, how many? When I was younger, obviously, I have this bookshelf of books, and you see the names, John, Rick Sternbach, and then you open Insurrection, the name John Eaves, all the Eagles before I was doing the show. oh, it's done by him, it's done by him, and then here they are as friends. You know, I don't know harp too much on about that, but it was great. And at that point, we were sort of leaving them to talk to them by themselves, but they all individually, as they all arrived, wanted to talk to us about how surreal it was to meet us, about how you know, it doesn't feel like, you know, it feels like they know us, and how tall I am, and then, you know, and we all make jokes, and it was really nice atmosphere, and then we can have lunch with them and then film with them, and it's just like, this is going really well. And John arrived.
We showed up at like 11, and then it was lunchtime. And Dorothy, I don't know if you guys all know this, but Dorothy was the chef on Enterprise. She made all the food on Enterprise.
Yeah, she was one of the main catering people.
So she is chef, basically.
Yes.
And so she had a fantastic lunch prepared for us, and we got to sit down at the table with these guys and hear their stories. And they were so into sharing stories with each other. We've got a lot of photos and stuff from that, which was fantastic.
Yeah, we had a croissant with chicken and veg sort of salad stuff in, some strawberries, because I got the pictures open, and like a apple crumble with glaze, like a sort of fried apple crumble sort of thing. Really delicious. I mean, like,
it was amazing food.
Home cooked, and she was so thoughtful and so considerate, and wanted us to hang out, but also joined us and made it a whole thing. It was really nice. And Doug and John just like bantering, and then Rick's just throwing out really clever little, oh, I know this about NASA, and just like it's just. But it sort of became very normal in a sense, because we had sort of seen them all, but to have them that close and being like this mini, it's like a mini family reunion of like, you know, people who love Trek, not like we're celebrities or anything. Like, it's not that sort of way, but just like people who know so much, and it's just.
I felt like a little kid at the dinner table just listening to the adults talk. I was just taking it all in.
Yeah,
I was trying to remember every nuance of that moment, because it's a memory for me that I'll always cherish. So, but anyway, then we needed to go outside and talk to them.
Well, yeah, because actually the house was quite dark, and my camera can only go so fast. So let's go film outside, beautiful light. We can get some really great videos because they're all there. I mean, I had a feeling John would turn up, because not only is it getting to see Rick and Doug hasn't seen for a while. He's actually in LA because he doesn't live in LA, but also we're there, so it's kind of this massive amalgam of things, plus a free lunch. Yeah, massive amalgam. I thought he would arrive, and he did come, and that really made it like the trifecta. So yeah, then we went outside, and I wanted to set up something really cool, but we had to ask Dorothy nicely, because there's quite a lot of kit and it needs tables and chairs, and we said, Dorothy, can we move some stuff? And she's like, yes. And then I sort of directing people to move stuff, and we sort of messed up their garden a little bit, and put stuff places. And then I'm like, okay, now the pressure's on for me. I've got to film, I've got to get to see all these videos. I have Stuart's hand camera, and it's like, right, now I've got to direct these three legends, and they're not really that controllable. How do we do that?
Well, I gotta jump in while you were setting up the kit and stuff. Doug took John out to the garage and showed him his little spaceship in the garage from My Favorite Martian, and I tagged along, took a look at that. Samuel came and took a look at it too. It was pretty cool to be hanging out in Doug's backyard, see the World Fair light that he's so proud of.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I remember. I think we said to everyone, "Yeah, have you seen my light? World's Fair." It's like, yes, Doug, we've seen it.
Yeah, he mentions that a lot.
Very proud of. Oh, and it's worth saying we had a great moment right at the start before lunch where you sort of ceremonially handed them all a Trekyards com badge.
Yes, and they all wore one except for Rick, because he didn't want to put a hole in his shirt, because he was wearing a nice button-down shirt. So,
yes. But we got great pictures of Doug, and they're in great position, just like Trekyards branding, as it were. But you know, they're just such fun people. And then, you know, we sat down, and you've seen the overall podcast, which we filmed right at the end. This wasn't the day we filmed Doug stuff. This is the separate stuff, which I don't believe it was in one of the teaser videos. But there's just them three, and those interviews will be coming up pretty soon. And just ask them questions about different parts of the history, about knowing each other, about Trekyards, and just a really great vibe, really interesting. And I mean, what was it like from your perspective? Obviously, I was very focused and sort of being in film mode. What was it like for you?
Like I said, I was just sucking it all in, all the information, and I had to be on point too, because we did do that podcast with all three of them, which has been released, so you guys can check it out, which was fun to do. Sitting down outside with these three legends, and I had to think of good questions to ask. And Samuel's really good at questions; he's really good at interviewing. Generally, I haven't really had the reins for that before, so I don't know. It's a lot to remember. I just remember having a great time. I don't remember it being stressful. I just remember it being it's just amazing.
It felt like an occasion and a hangout. you know. And I had my laptop off to the side and the camera, and you're filming with your camera, and Dorothy's going out taking photos. It's Mike, and we're chatting and trying to control Doug's stories and trying to get more involved, and having John saying really said. I think Doug sung at one point. You'll see that in one of the videos. Just really nice, and just you can't to plan it and it for to happen so flawlessly. And the next day when we saw Doug, there were lots of, or when we did say Doug, there were lots of planes. There were not as many planes that day, which was lucky because of the audio. But it was such a just nice thing. And then I made sure to do some.
Sorry. There was this one moment when, after all the autographs were signed and all that jazz, that they were goofing around in the backyard. We've got a lot of photos of Doug and John just being goofy, and Rick, trying to like reel them in. And some funny stuff with them behind us while we're sitting in the chairs for his World Fair night. I mean, I don't know. It was just a great, fun time. It was like a bunch of old friends hanging out, and we kind of felt part of the club a little bit. And that was awesome. So,
and I kind of insisted that we get photos with all of them, because not only are they in person, but great light. Dorothy had a great camera. And, it's funny, with these legends, what they did is quite a while ago now, and they don't, apart from Trekyards, they don't do a lot in the limelight, and so getting good press photos is not easy, and so I made sure I got proper good photos of them all for posters and updates and things, because this is how they look now, and that was great. Just a quick little photo of us with everyone, each of them with each other, which was funny. They were thinking how silly it was, honestly. I think they're like, oh, another one, but it's just kind of like they're having fun being together and goofing and enjoying my direction, because I'm a director as well. And it's just nice to get these pictures of these legends, and again, stuff that you barely can plan, let alone come together as well. And
and then sadly it was time to leave, but we had to come back to interview Doug independently, and we did that another day. And that was when we got to see his man cave where he films in. Now, we always have a very unique point of view on Skype of that room, and it was not at all what I expected.
No.
It was...
Yes. Well, okay, what did you expect first?
I expected like a big open spot in front of his desk that looked out onto like a living room. And then all of his stuff kind of behind him, some stuff off to the side behind the camera that we didn't see. And then, of course, his robot behind on the other wall. But no, you walk in and it's this room.
Well, can I say how I thought? I thought it was going to be a sort of a medium-sized room with like a table and chair and books, like techie stuff on one side, maybe like a construction bit where he builds models, maybe like just random stuff, and then his sort of zone where there's space and he can look around. He has hard drives and PC monitors and things like a. But what was it really?
Well, it's this room you walk into, and there's like 2 aisles almost. There's a bunch of stuff in the center. His desk is in the far back corner by the window.
Yes.
And it kind of the camera points this way, so you see the robot. As soon as you walk in the room, you look to the left, and there's the robot. But in front of you, there's a whole bunch of World War II memorabilia. The QMX NCC or NX-01. Lots of really cool stuff. He's got a plane console by his computer.
Starbug,
World War
I believe.
II.
World
War II hats and stuff. What's that?
He had a Starbug model, I believe.
Oh, absolutely. He had a lot of really cool stuff. Like, I could have looked around in there for hours.
But it was very cramped and very... But I think cozy as well. But for us, especially since 3 of us were like in the doorway sort of thing. For a single person, it's probably quite nice. But yeah, it was way smaller than I thought it was going to be. We did look around the rest of his house, and we didn't actually look around the entire house, did we? We just looked around a bit of it. But it was really nice. And it was good to see the other dimension. And we took a picture of him from the opposite view, and it's like, that is what it really looks like, And I was going to make a joke that we should at some point superimpose us on Skype on that view, so then we see it's like recreating what he sees talking to us. That might happen at some point.
That'd be cool.
So that was our first day meeting him. Do you want to talk about the second time and then do a summation of meeting the Doug Drexler?
Well, yeah. Well, this seeing his room was the second time. I was the second.
True.
Because we saw the room first, then we went outside and interviewed him, and there was a bunch of planes going over. So every like 12 minutes we had time. We had to like stop and wait for the plane.
Yes. But it was good.
And the lighting kept changing, which vexed Samuel because it was cloudy and then sunny and then cloudy.
Perfect for the first 30 minutes, and then it became a nightmare because the clouds kept going over, and it's like we got to adjust it all the time, and then it doesn't look right. So you'll see the interviews, the more that get released, the later parts then suddenly a bit all over the place a little bit because it just changes. I mean, I can't control it and I can't update it. I can't alter it. But it was good. I mean, we, as you might have noticed in the interview that we released, the origins of Doug Drexler, the first part of the whole day of interviews. Doug says serious. I say professional. Like, this wasn't there wasn't the goofy. Let's talk about the ship. Let's talk about you. Let's actually interview you in a professional way. Because me and my zone, in that context, is different to this sort of Skype interaction. And so I was very interesting. We covered a lot of ground, learned a lot of new things. I don't think anyone in the Trek community that just watches the show would know, and that sort of stuff will be coming out soon. So it was really good. It was very serious. We got like an hour of content, I think a bit under that, kept him to charge and do little things. But we couldn't spend that long. There was only like a 2-hour meeting there because every day was busy. We had several things each day to do.
He had something that he had to head off to as well.
Oh, and it wasn't his anniversary that day.
It was, and he was going out with Dorothy later, but he had a meeting before that he had to get to in the afternoon. Unless he just said that so that we had a limited time to be there. No, I don't know.
Yeah, it was his wedding anniversary that day, and that was amazing. So we were able to wish them a happy anniversary, and that's great. They not only gave us time, but let us be part of it. And then he went out to see a 3D virtual reality thing, and then I went to dinner with Dorothy and Michael Forrest, I believe, who was Apollo, and someone else with their anniversary dinner. So that was
Michael and Denise Sakudo as well.
Oh yeah. So that was nice, and it was a good interview. Good vibes, but serious, and we had to go at the end, but still, we almost didn't want to say bye. Oh, yeah.
There's something else I want to say. There's more interviews from him coming, of course. That was just one that we released. There's probably going to be about 4 or 5 more based on the topics.
5 or 6, depending. Yeah.
So lots to look forward to from that, guys. But before we left, we had the opportunity to open up his display case and hold his Emmys. Well, not hold his Emmys, pose in front of his Emmys.
Yes, did.
It was Rob Bonchoon's Emmy that I held later. Sorry, but anyway, we got pictures of Doug in front of his Emmys, us in front of his Emmys, and it was a fantastic. All in all, just the 2 days that we spent with Doug was just fantastic. So
yes, and hopefully the day we've just spent with him, 2 days, will also be amazing as well. Yes, because of the time travel of this video. So what was yours takeaways then from that meeting? Because he's a well-known personality in the Trek world and in the book world and all these things, and everyone knows his laugh. And what was your takeaway actually meeting him in person?
Nicest guy in the world, hilarious. I mean, I filmed part of my captain's log there, and he's being a goof in the beginning of it and acting all funny and got that very New York attitude, So, and he's more fit than I expected too. Like, he's a tough little guy. Mm-hmm. I didn't mean little like that. Just I can just hear Worf. Little, no. Anyway, he's
strong like a Defiant, so it's fine.
Oh, absolutely, and great guy, and I really more than I expected, more than I anticipated going there. I didn't know what to really expect, but he's just the nicest, most genuine guy in the world,
and a great host. Both him and Dorothy were amazing hosts.
Absolutely,
really gracious, and let us do a lot of things to move things when we needed to. I think
so. What were your takeaways from this?
Well, I think one thing that I learned from that Mission America trip is that you are exactly how you seem.
That's good.
Which is good. And the chemistry flowed straight away. And everyone else we met was how they seemed. So we're so lucky at Trekyards. Not only the fact that we love Star Trek, have made contact with these people, but we've got the real side of them. We managed to kind of capture in a bottle their personalities and show it for you guys. And it was so great to have that real interaction and see that they're just as amazing in person. And they must have been fun, really fun to work with on the shows and movies. Seriously, that was I wish I could go back in time and visit the art department. It'd be so much fun. But my thoughts on Doug himself, little than I thought, but that's already been said, and that's one of the jokes now. Really, really friendly. I mean, again, he was basically what I expected, and that was a great thing, because I'm not going to say meeting an icon, like for me personally, because once you work with them it changes the relationship a bit. Like if this was a week after we spoke to him, that'd be different. But just to have that real sense of chemistry as well in person, and know that he really enjoys the show, enjoys enough to invite us to his house.
Hold on a second.
Straight away, as soon as we say LA, he's like, come to the house, we'll make you lunch, So really nice, and we've got more coming with him and more episodes we're gonna film. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to what happens in Ticonderoga, even though it happened yesterday. Anyway, guys, yeah, it was great meeting him, and I just can't say enough good things about the guy. He's amazing. So
that is it for this Trekyards podcast on the meeting of Doug Drexler. I hope you guys enjoyed, and hope you guys are all going to enjoy all of the Mission America content and all the Mission Canada content. Thanks to you guys supporting us to be on this trip right now. You guys helped us get there, past there, and you guys are not going to regret it. It's going to be so great. So thank you so much. While we're in America, we're both in foreign countries, and I'll go back to Stuart's house in a day or two, or longer right now because of time travel and shit. Any closing thoughts?
I don't know. Should we call this video Doug Drexler First Contact? Because we made first contact with the Drexler.
Yes.
Anyway,
he took his hat, he took his thing off, did that, and then his biceps just went. It's like I'm very strong. Yes.
Yeah. He's amazing, and that's all I can say. But anyway, I think that's it for this podcast. And this is Captain Foley.
And Commander Cones.
Signing off until next time, guys. And thanks again so much for all you guys do. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.